Can I just point out how crazy it is that we have Sterling Moss's Jaguar D-Type that he raced in Le Mans, $6.5 to $8.5 million, parked next to a Toyota Camry. For this episode of Capturing Car Culture, I wanted to cover the Amelia Island Concours, but I wanted to stay away from doing the typical car journalist coverage, which is just of the concours itself. I wanted to get a behind-the-scenes look and some of the inner workings at the Broad Arrow auctions, and I also wanted to check out some of the surrounding events, including Radwood, which is where I caught up with Hagerty's own Jason Cammisa super early in the morning, right after the show loaded in.
No one wants this. No one wants 7 a.m., Jason.
I mean, that's when the car things happen, though.
I know, but they have to call it Cars and Coffee because there's no other way we're all getting out of bed this early.
This basically is like a big, very big Cars and Coffee, and it...
Cars and Coffee, like, to the extreme, circa 1998. I mean, you don't see cars like, look at this Citroen.
Oh my God.
It's so nuts.
This is so good.
Slithering in on its own.
You know, when Radwood started as a show, not even that long ago, I thought to myself, finally, a car show for my generation of car.
It's the wildest thing because, you know, not only is like the music for us and the outfits are like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, we used to wear those.
Good.
But then you see stuff that like, okay, a Citroen CX just drove by. Yes, never seen one of those. But like, I look over and I see a Talbot Morena. Like, what is this thing? Like, you stuff that you've never even heard of, obscure stuff from Japan that we've never seen, obscure stuff from Europe. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've said before, like, we go to Pebble Beach, right? And coming to this show, maybe just even a couple of years ago, pretty stuffy, a lot of pre-war cars that I have no idea I don't even know what they are. Like, I've never seen them before. It's something that I never grew up with, and it's just something that I don't understand. I get that there's such enthusiasm with this stuff, and, you know, they love it being period correct, and the dressing up, and the judges. Somehow, I don't even know how, they know what's right and what's wrong, even though they weren't even born when this stuff came out. You know, like pre-war. That just goes right over my head.
Listen, I understand and appreciate the whole Concours C, all right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily for me or for you. What I love about the Radwood stuff is this is for like the rest of us. First of all, I love being a judge at Radwood because it's not like, it's not a Concours. I'm like saying, oh, that bolt should be CAD plated and it's aluminum plated. I'm not worried about that. All I'm looking for is the cool factor. And that takes the pressure off as a judge, but also just takes the pressure off as all the participants. Everyone just shows up, clean their car, and has a good time. And it's a really nice counterpoint to the Concours, which is a very formal thing and very serious.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about Amelia now. There's both, right?
Both.
So we're on the Radwood side, and then just over this street is the normal Amelia Island Concours side.
And due to the weather this year, typically Radwood's on the Saturday and then the show is on the Concours on the Sunday. I kind of love that they're both happening simultaneously because I sort of love that this divide between like relatively young crowd and a much older crowd is all here at the same time. And I hope they cross-pollinate because there's love for both.
I mean, this is honestly the way to get more young people into cars and car culture. What we love, like, this is it. Let's take a look at that van that you were talking about. See, when was the last time anybody got excited over a freaking caravan? Or what?
I think it is a Voyager.
What's funny is that was one of my first cars that I had a hand-me-down, a green one.
See, okay. Little known fact, I worked for Chrysler when I was in college. I did displays called Plymouth Place. And they were in malls, concerts, special events, like county fairs and stuff like that. And I was a brand ambassador for them. So I had all the sales training of the salespeople, but I couldn't sell a car. And I would sit at the mall, and this was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it is a Plymouth. And I would tell you everything you wanted to know about all of the Plymouth lineup. We did Chrysler Showcase also. This was my era. All of the cars were purple. They were all in this color. So imagine like young Jason in a mall in Pittsburgh in front of a purple Voyager.
It's so funny because when I was driving this around, mine was green and it was the Dodge version. It could not have been more of an uncool thing. the fact that I had to drive a minivan around and, you know, hand me down
thing.
you know,
Yeah, no,
going to community college, you know, I was driving this thing, but now look how cool this is.
amazingly cool.
This is so crazy. Look at it. Doom PC game.
I spent
So good.
years cleaning these things.
Why does this exist?
I don't know.
Why does it? What? Because it's amazing.
No, I mean, like, why does it, like, it wasn't running for the ground? Like, I love it. This is,
I like it too. It's crazy. It even had automatic rear windows that just crack open. Yeah.
Listen, when you're working on the malls on these, people would come over like, I love my Voyager, never had any problem with it. And I was like, what? Like, I, of course, wasn't paid, and I'm not really a good employee ever. And so people are like, I never had a problem, like transmission. They're like, oh, 3 of those. Like, yeah, your rear hatch ever fly open? Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. But people loved their minivans.
This is what I like about Radwood. It's like these vehicles that at the time were just pedestrian everyday cars.
Yep.
And somehow, for some reason, this individual saved it.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
And for us, it's a memory structure, right? This is a shape that we used to see all over, and we haven't seen them in 20 years, and all of a sudden the memories come flooding back. You in college, me in college. I mean, my mom would have hanged herself before she ever drove one of these, so I thought they were cool. The other truth, it made you great burnouts. You know, especially put like 5 guys on the tailgate behind the back wheel, it takes some weight off the front.
Did they ever come in all-wheel drive? I think they did. It was a version, right?
Did, hold on. Yes, they did. Only the Town and Country, not the Plymouth Voyager.
Okay, got it. Yeah, this brings me back. Like all the green instrument clusters, everything was green for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think these had power sliding doors yet. But I think this was the first van that had dual sliding doors.
Yes, I
It's pretty
remember.
serious.
I remember that was like a big deal.
And I mean, look, stupid things design-wise. The fact that the track for the door is hidden in the base of the window was a genius thing, because prior to this, it was just a big, ugly scar that went down the side. This is the era where Chrysler just led by design. I mean, we had this, you had, like, in the thing, we had the cloud cars. So Plymouth Breeze, Dodge Stratus, Chrysler Cirrus, the 300M, gorgeous.
That was.
Chrysler Concorde, Dodge Intrepid, Eagle Vision. This was, you know, Chrysler was on a roll. This was all design-led stuff. And here it is at Radwood.
We're missing all of those. Man, a 300M would be cool right here.
That's true. There should be an entire like 90s Chrysler display. One of the cars that you'll see on both sides of the street, so i.e. here at Radwood and then at the Concours, is BMW 3 Series. So this is 50 years of 3 Series this year. And there's a display over there of 3 Series and a display over here of 3 Series, which is kind of cool. I think so. We'll call the E30 the crossover car.
There's so many of them.
There's so many of them. I will take mine in that Rothsteiner livery. Thank you.
I love it.
Actual DTM car from back in the day.
So good. We're looking for cars to talk about here. This is just like a normal parking lot.
I mean, it's exactly it. It's the parking lot of my dream.
Yeah, well.
If I just ignore all the stuff I don't like.
One of the things I've been talking about a lot recently is the fact that I absolutely love how nerdy our audience is. You know, I really appreciate it when people do correct us, and also like they're just so passionate about what we have to say about cars and car culture.
I love that. If it weren't, I mean, the fact that I will sit through hour-long videos of people building engines repeatedly. I do this over and over again. It says a lot about all of us. First, that we're damaged, first of all.
There's just enough nerds out there.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing, and that's what makes me happy.
Another purple 90s Chrysler.
All right,
LHS, we
let's
gotta
check it
go. Just ignore the 124 300 TE, the 944 Turbo, all those are just, Lexus ST.
And then we got the JDM row here, FC, SC,
I mean, you know,
Mark 4, R32.
Excuse me, ignore all of that because it's a purple LHS. Next one, obviously, it's 968.
Porsche.
I mean, come on. This is the era that this was baller. Front wheel drive with a longitudinal engine.
This is front-wheel drive.
Look at that.
Burnout.
This is plush. It's so plush, it's pronounced plush.
I love that it has the same stock
Yeah.
as the minivan.
And the headlight switch is the same. Window switches are the same.
A lot of things are the same.
Yep.
Wait, I can't believe this is front-wheel drive.
And longitudinal, Audi style. engine completely in front of the front wheels. I would love for the owner to come over to open the hood. So
Yeah, look at this. Look at this design.
This was the quad cam 3.5 liter.
You know you're Plymouth.
I used to sit there. Well, the Neon has a rousing 132 horsepower single overhead cam 4-cylinder, or if you get the double overhead cam version, had 150 horsepower. I still remember this 30 years later.
Amazing. Look at the fitment.
The fit with the panel gaps that you could drive a Neon value. Stop. I think this one might have fallen down a flight of stairs. It's a little. It's okay. Who doesn't have? We're all aging poorly. It's fine.
Yeah, I would love to see the engine. Look, it has a banana in the back. It's that
It's the optional banana package. Banana package.
It's certainly something. Wait, what was the Dodge version of this?
Intrepid. Eagle Premier, Dodge Intrepid, LHS. This was bigger than the 300M, so there were two sort of sizes. But yeah, same car underneath.
And then, so what year would this have come out?
They came out 90. Let me think about this. 97-ish. I think it was 97. 96, 97.
Yeah, this is something else of the era. Again, why did this person save this? Who knows?
Okay. So the owner isn't here, and I really hope the owner is not upset, but I'm opening the hood because you got to see this.
If this doesn't win some sort of award today.
I hope the alarm doesn't go off.
Oh, buddy.
Longitudinal V6.
You know, it's so funny. There's no way, like if I looked at this, I would have guessed that it's rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, look, the motor's far, it's actually fully in front of the front wheels, fully disguised Audi-style layout, because this was actually a Renault chassis that was adapted by Chrysler. So Renault Alliance basically became this. Look, 24 valve 4 cam.
I think this is a lot of power for a front-wheel drive.
Yeah.
This might be one of the biggest engines for a front-wheel drive.
Well, the minivan had a 3.8.
Okay.
The minivan had a 3.8, but it was push rod. So this was the 24 valve.
So this was actually more power. Yeah.
I want to say this was 220. God, this is a long time. Put this down so no one sees it.
I've seen so many clips of car auctions on YouTube. They talk super fast and they're selling all these crazy cars. I can see why it would be so exciting to see in person, but I had so much to learn about how auctions worked. I headed over to the main showroom where many of the cars were going up on the auction block that weekend.
Let's talk a little bit about numbers. The Broad Arrow auctions happening at the Amelia Island Concours has over 160 cars that will go across the auction block. Low estimates come out to around 75 million. That's if every single car hits their low target price. Now, of course, two of those cars make up a huge chunk of that $75 million. You have the 1959 Ferrari 250 GT California Spider that is estimated to go at least $10 million. On the high end, $14 million. You also have a 1954 Jaguar Type D that was raced in Le Mans by Sterling Moss that is estimated to go for at least $6.5 million up to $8.5 million. Check it out, guys. Lamborghini Mira. Don't let Kato-san from Liberty Walk see this. Although this one is too perfect to cut up. This one, let's just humor ourselves and see what their estimate is on this. $4.5 million to $5 million. Oh, wow. This thing is perfect. It is like a brand new car. It's so good.
While it's so cool to see these very historic legacy cars that go for millions of dollars, they are not so relatable. What I like are the driver's cars. This time, the one that stood out to me was this very plain Jane looking Honda S2000.
This auction has a $14 million Ferrari, but also a Honda S2000 offered without reserve $60,000 to $80,000. It only has 42 miles on it. Oh, wow. This has got to be the lowest mile S2000 of all time. I'm assuming it has the original tires on it. I'm assuming it has everything original on it. But that's why it's worth so much. I was wondering, what a car. It's probably never even seen the light of day. I can't believe this thing only has delivery miles. Whoever bought this way back when in 2000 just bought it, maybe drove it around the block or ran one errand with it, parked it, and left it alone all of these years. 25 years.
I was curious about the process behind choosing some of these auction cars, so I caught up with Ian Kelleher, who is in charge this year.
We have a few cars here that are really low mileage. This is one of them. We have a Testarossa with about 500 miles on it, equally low mileage. But you know, that makes for a great auction car. We sold an Acura, I think last year or the year before, an Integra, which was also low mileage, and that brought something like $120,000. So it was a world record price for an Integra. So I think there's a demand for low mileage cars like this, especially that you can, if you want, drive.
And do they reach out to you? Like, how do you choose something like this?
In a lot of circumstances, most people that have something like this, they're thinking about selling it at auction. They know that at auction is a good venue for it. You get competitive bidding. We promote it a little bit, you know, we put it on Instagram, we do different things with it. You know, ultimately, it's about putting it in an environment where you have, you know, 4, 5, 6 bidders potentially that want to fight for something. So it really does, you know, eclipses its estimate very quickly.
You've chosen so many cars for this particular auction. How interactive are you with these owners? Like, are you hands-on with
Very
any
much
of
so.
these?
Very
Really?
much so, yeah.
So you've met the owner?
Most of the time we've met the owners, we're working with them. They're coming to our event because they've been here before sometimes. Other owners, other sellers are this might be their first time through an auction or to Amelia Island as an example. But for the most part, most are familiar with the brand or the process or the environment at least.
It's such an interesting thing to me, right? Because this is a good example, right? This car, I guess 25 years, it's a round number, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
yeah,
I've had it since, you know, winter of 1999 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait until 2025 to sell this car.
Now, I can appreciate people that do that. I don't know how in the world they're able to do that. I can't do that. If I open a bag of Oreos, I eat the whole bag of Oreos. It's not so I can't just take one Oreo and put it away. That's what that's what it feels like when it's like 42 miles on something, you know? Like it's just I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd want to drive it, enjoy it, things like that.
Yeah, well, you're a real car guy, that's why.
Well, you know, I mean, you see some of these things that may pass through a dealership or it's sat at a dealership for a long time. We've sold cars in the past that have, you know, that have sat in a dealership for 10, 20 years and accumulated no miles, and then they come out and are sold. And you know, that's more common in many ways.
What's also interesting to me is the fact that I feel like they'll run out.
Right.
But it seems like there's an endless supply.
We always kind of approach the auction thinking, where are we going to get all these cars? Where are we going to get all these consignments? And then we sit here today, you know, the day before the event, and I've got 166 cars to sell. So it's pretty dramatic that, you know, you go from two cars to 166, and you know, we do this again in a couple months for the next auction.
Look at this.
I mean, that's cool.
That is just so cool.
That's just factory new, basically.
It's amazing. Not that long ago, this was just an ordinary, everyday pedestrian, fun sports car. But now it's become something so extraordinary. On the original tires, never seen a rainy day. That is so cool.
Parked not too far away was something that was the complete opposite of a brand new S2000.
I just wanted to point out this car for sale. So this was burned at Pebble Beach after it won a trophy in 2024. So this is a 1934 Hispano Souza J12. It's estimated to go for $300,000 to $500,000. This is one of the only vehicles that
will not physically cross the auction block. It's for sale here at Amelia Island, but they're not going to be able to move it because it doesn't move. So yeah, this tragically burned to the ground. I mean, there's really not much left. Every panel, every bit is destroyed, but they're going to auction this off because it was insured by Hagerty. So that means Hagerty had to buy this vehicle and now they own it, and now they're going to auction this off. I don't know who in their right mind will try to restore this. At this point, you might as well just start with raw metal, but maybe somebody wants the challenge. I mean, like, look at this. This is crazy. I just can't tell what is what. Like, I could see that it got so hot that the aluminum melted, the valve covers, onto the head. And you look at the seats, there's just nothing left. It's just a bunch of coal now. On the description, it says a near mythical masterpiece of order and simplicity that begs for a triumphant return from the ashes. No kidding. If someone were to return this from the ashes, I would be very, very, very surprised. I was gonna say that maybe the bumper was untouched because it looks pretty clean, but then I realized that it looked like it got charred pretty good and it's bubbling all over. They must have just let this burn for a long time. Look, it burned so hot, look at the glass. The glass melted like a liquid. Believe it or not, this sold for $200,000. Hopefully someone can return this 9.4 liter V12 powered Hispano Souza back to its former glory. I went in search for some more driver's cars from my era and came across these incredible Ford Mustang Cobras from 3 different generations. You had the SN99 from the year 2000 that had an estimated sale price of $100,000 to $125,000 US dollars. This was powered by a 5.4 liter V8 that made 385 horsepower. With a manual transmission and no electronic aids, I'm sure this was a crazy car to drive. Parked next to it was this SN95 that had an estimated sale price of $60,000 to $80,000 US. Last one, and probably most people's favorites, was this 1993 Fox body that had the highest estimated price in between the 3, from $160K to $180K US dollars. Normally at a car show, it's very taboo to touch other people's cars without asking, but at an auction, everything is for sale, so you have to poke and prod to see if it's something you actually want to buy. I caught up with Larry Webster. He's the big boss when it comes to content coming out of the entire Hagerty network, which means he's my boss.
So these are super cool. Don't you love the flared fenders on these things?
I honestly love the way these look.
And they cleaned up the front so well.
I've always loved the way these look. I feel like these were so ahead of their time. The transaxle,
Yeah.
the
Turbo.
you know, like, wasn't this type of car supposed to take over the 911, essentially?
The 928 was.
Okay.
And it's funny, the American Peter Schultz, I think you say his name, he took over, he became head of Porsche in Germany in the late 70s. And the whole company, as the story goes, was sort of depressed that they were going to sunset the 911. But he saw what was going on with the sales, and there's this story where he goes into Helmut Bott's office. He was the chief engineer, and they had this big graph on the walls, the way I heard it. And they had each car model, and a line said when it was going to end, and the 911 was going to end in like 1981. And Schultz goes in there and he says to Bott, he takes the magic marker, and he takes the line for the 911, and he extends it all the way out, and he says, "Do you understand?" He said, "Yeah, understood." And that was it. That's what kept the 911 going.
This one's a really, really good example.
18,000 miles. Really nice paint. And these phone dial wheels, God, they're so 80s. Oh, it's got Pirelli P7s. Yes. I wanted to pop the hood because when I restored a 924 turbo, which didn't have a Porsche engine, had the Audi engine. Hardest car I ever worked on. Like an absolute nightmare to package the turbo with the exhaust and the wastegate. I got all back together. It wasn't running when I bought it. And then I drove it. I don't like it. It's immediately sold it. But yeah, look how it's all crammed down in there. Like, exhaust goes down, turbo's down there. It's freaking crazy.
This is the biggest 4-cylinder I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, they eventually made in the S versions 3 liters.
You could fit a V12 in here, man. Like, look how much room there is.
I think that's your next project. Put a V12 in on.
Right.
Get that Toyota Century V12. See
I
what
know.
it does. But it's a little smaller compact engine, about 230 horsepower, so even more power. Because he's only made like 200-ish. But they were meant to be cheap, right? It came from the 924, which was their replacement for the 914. So you can kind of tell when you drive them. I always like the 968 too.
This is cool. I never knew about this.
So the guys get really excited about these cars because they're factory-built race cars. They're built for a Canadian 944 Turbo Cup series, and this is the in-period livery. So for the vintage racers, they like that whole design. But check out the cage in it.
This is what blows me away. Like, it's still a street car.
Totally, right? They kept all it in there. You can unbolt the sidebar so you can get in and out of it. I mean, this was showroom stock racing, which was so popular in the 80s. The idea you could take it from the showroom and go race it. And you could.
Still has the stock passenger seat, but what's also crazy to me is the stock back seats are still in there.
Yeah.
Like, for what? I guess just to complete the look, right?
Yeah.
But the cage all just goes around all of that.
Showroom stock, man. It was just like, just like you bought it and you raced it.
That is too cool. I love it. I love the livery so much.
It is fantastic, isn't it?
Team Xerox. That's a way to date this.
I think this one will do well because of the, I think the Rothmans, right, which was on those 959s back in the day, that's super kind of dates it as well, if you ask me. But Larry, what is better than flared fenders? The 80s were the era of the flares, for sure.
That's cool.
I think the surprise is going to be that one, the 240.
You think so?
I do. Well, it's surprising. The estimate's like 30 to 40 grand. These were super duper, like, hot cars, 7-8 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago. All of a sudden, everybody realized how collectible they are.
You know, the thing about this is, back in the late 90s, Nissan thought it would be a good idea to restore a bunch of them.
I remember.
Right? Do the Classic Z.
I drove one.
Yeah, and they only restored 21, I think,
Yeah.
before they shuttered the program because nobody bought them.
Nobody bought them?
No, nobody bought them.
A factory-built, rebuilt car. Amazing.
They were just too ahead of their time. Could you imagine if they did that now?
Right, because everybody's doing it now.
But back then, this was a car that you could buy in the teens or even a couple $1,000s, right? For a really good example. But for you to go into the dealership, spend 25, whatever, 30 grand for a brand new one, that was ahead of its time in the 90s. Now, people would be lying around the block just to get one of these cars if they were going for that much, you know?
You know these cars really well. What do you see that's not original?
I mean, it's hard to tell unless you really open it up.
But that's the quilting they used on the tunnel, right? Was it vinyl like that?
That's the later center console.
Oh, okay.
So
It's a manual choke. Look at that.
yeah, manual choke. A lot of people, when I had my car that was still carbureted, people are like, what's that dial for? You know? What does that do?
Oh, this is clean.
So stock airbox. You know what a good indication of like the condition it's in? Stock work light works. This is just a different era where they actually wanted you to work on the car, right? Because this comes out
for sure.
and you can inspect the entire engine bay if you were broken down with this light.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, you could look at that two ways. You could say they wanted you to work on it, or they knew it was going to break down.
I mean, maybe they were just more realistic back then, but this looks like it's in pretty good condition. 72, which is not the most desirable. It was the later version of them. So 70, 71, 72, it goes in that order in terms of desirability. 73 was when they changed the bumpers, and that's the least desirable out of the 240Zs. These are all great driver's cars, and I really like that the estimate is priced at a point where if you do purchase this, you wouldn't feel bad to drive this. So this is priced at $30,000 to $40,000, numbers matching. $40,000 in service, I believe that.
Yeah, you could tell it's a driver car. I mean, if you look at the headers, they got some crunch on them.
You pointed out that it has the stock wheels, the stock hubcaps.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that you would throw away if you had a car like this and you wanted to hot rod it, you know? I just wanted to point out the only car that I can afford in this room is this 1980s 500 SL Mercedes. And that's because it is a go-kart. It is going on the low end for $7,500. High end, $12,500. Still a lot of money. So check it out, these folks are clearing out this entire space because they're gonna set up chairs, and this is where they're gonna hold the broad air auctions. They bring them up on this stage, down this ramp, into this hallway here, which is shared by the kitchen. And then they have to like make this slight turn because of course both of these doorways are not lined up. So if you see where the caution tape is down here, they have to make a little bit of a turn. They also have to be careful because there's these yellow poles here. So we're gonna watch one come through right now. It's amazing because some of these cars are just so wide. Look how barely it fits on both sides through that doorway. That is the widest car.
Yep. Okay.
Look at this. Watch out, watch out.
I got it. It's all good.
Careful.
Straight.
Oh, buddy. That is so scary. It's very close. Now look at this side. Look how close that is. God dang, that's close. So if you're wondering where the cars are overnight as they get the ballroom set up, they just park them in the underground basement. They park them next to regular pedestrian employee cars, not organized in any way, just the way they pull in. They just shut it off, and then in the morning, they'll bring them up one by one as they get sold. The reason why a lot of these cars are here now is because they got shipped here in advance for the Concours on Sunday. Unfortunately, we just got word that they pushed it forward to Saturday due to really terrible weather. Who knows what's coming through here in Florida. It's actually for everyone's safety. It is a bummer because we do miss out on some of the cars, but either way, I'm glad I'll still be able to see this show for the first time. A couple other cool cars down here. Check out this E36 lightweight. I cannot believe how good condition this one is. The decals still in very good condition. Who knows, they could have been replaced also, but this one, beautiful. Wheels, perfect. Interior, uncracked, clean, brand new looking. One of the best driver's cars. Damn, this is just BMW row over here. We got a nice Lime Rock E92. Dang, there's a lot of BMWs here. There's so many cars that I adore here for sale. This one, I know how much trouble this is, and I know it was a difficult time period during Lamborghini's history, but oh my God, is this a beautiful car. It's really difficult for it to come across on camera, but there's like pinks, purples. It's almost like a color shifting thing going on. Like I said, it's really hard to render on camera, but you can kind of see a little bit of it.
140 next.
The next morning I was so excited because I had a chance to experience the auction up close and personal for the first time.
With you, and we're here at $6,000 on my right, at $6,000 here. At $6,000, I'll take a bid of $7,000. We're at $6,000 on my right. I'll take a bid of $7,000. $7,000 has been in the front at $7,000.
That's crazy. That little freaking car sold for $9,000. Amazing. It's kind of funny because the S2000 sold for $85,000. And when I posted about it yesterday, a lot of people were saying, hey, if you just invested that $32,000, you would have made a lot more money. But that may be true, but it's a pretty cool story, and it's a time capsule. So it did end up selling for $85,000, which is crazy for an AP1 run-of-the-mill S2000. Oh, buddy.
At $1,650,000.
Is it gonna hit 2 million? Oh, that's it. That might be it. That's it. 1.7. Boom. So look what I found. Are you gonna buy a car, or what? Why are you sitting right in the front here?
I'm just hanging out, enjoying the vibe, tire kicking. But there's a 65 911 and a pre-A 356 that I'm very interested in, but no time and no space and no money, so I'm just here as a spectator.
I feel like with your connections, you could literally just call some people and get like a inside scoop on a car if you really wanted one.
A lot of stuff that I trade is off market, but I've also done some stuff with Broad Arrow. I'm excited with these guys. I mean, Ian and Alex I go way back with, and we're getting ready for Air Water at the end of April, so this is fun to come support them. We brought Patrick out the first time at a live car auction, and we're having a good time.
This is my first time at a live car auction too, and it's a different vibe, you know? It's just so crazy, like people just battling each other, whatever. What blew me away was that damn S2000 sold for $85,000.
Yeah, strong.
Well, I'm looking forward to Air and Water. Looking forward to displaying my car for the first time at any Luca call.
We're stoked to have you.
Thank you, as always.
This is the payoff, right? So this is when you have a packed house, you've got everybody here, you can feel the energy, cars are selling well. So you basically, you kind of just want to keep that momentum going. It's working, so it's a little bit like, a duck on the pond, and it looks really cool on the top, and on the bottom, we're paddling away.
So what's the percentage of the people online versus phone versus here? Is it always varying, or?
It does. Amelia has a very strong in-person attendance, so you tend to have fewer phone bids than you would versus some of the other sales, because you have so many people here. I mean, if you look in the room, there's probably over 1,000 people in the room right now. But even right now, on a lot like this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 phone bidders, which is pretty encouraging for something. So, it just depends on the car.
And it's also a lot of people in person, but they're calling too.
You might have people that are at another auction right now. There's another auction taking place right now, and you'll have people calling in from there to telephone bid on the lot and vice versa. You want to take a look out back and see what's going on there?
Let's see. How do we get back there?
Let's go. Follow me.
130 would be next.
Oh, buddy. Behind the scenes.
So now you see, it's tight. It's close quarters.
It is so narrow here.
It's a real.
Every car has to go through here.
We've got a great team of guys who have done this before, and they know what they're doing, and it worked well as a team, and everybody kind of goes the same direction. And cars are challenging. Sometimes they don't start, they don't run right. You have to worry about overheating, things like that. So you do your best to contend with the challenges and make it all work right.
Man, it is so. It's like this orchestra of. Okay, so cars are getting cleaned.
Yep.
Cars are getting lined up in order, right? No surprises in terms of what car is going up. And then, so what happens when they are finished?
They'll come back out here, and they go all the way down to the parking garage, and they sit down there safe and secure until they're basically shipped out.
It was so cool to see all the cars lined up to go for auction, but I wanted to know if it would be possible for me to ride in the car onto the stage. Surprisingly, Ian said yes.
What do you think you want to ride it?
I don't know. I mean,
This looks like something that would do well. On
Yeah.
and the gentleman in here is a very special guy.
okay.
He's one of Reliable Carrier's very best drivers.
Nice.
His name is Dale.
So he
I-
drives
I-
trucks and he drives Lambos
He drives
too.
trucks and he drives Lambos. And
Right.
We're graced by his presence today.
How do you get this gig? You transport these things
Yes.
and you get to drive them onto the auction block.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, well, it's, I mean, we drive them in and out of the trailer, so this is actually pretty easy.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
so-
point. So then every car has its quirks too, right? Some of them
Yes.
are overheating, some of them the clutch is really stiff. How's this one?
A typical Lamborghini. I mean, they all vary, you know, it's just, it's kind of muscle memory.
I'm assuming you drive a lot of right-hand drive cars too.
Yes.
A little bit of everything.
Yes.
Oh, this is exciting. This is gonna be really cool. Oh my God. This is so crazy. All right, we're out here. Little turntable action. That's the auctioneer right there. Look at this. What an interesting feeling. This was such a fun and weird experience. Everyone was staring at me. Meanwhile, I was trying not to make a scene. Funny thing is, Pat Long sent me a text with a picture of me in the car. So then how come sometimes they have to push it back out?
Typically, it has to do with some of the cars where they sit, they smoke fumes
Okay,
and
got
everything.
it.
They're trying to control fumes.
Got it, got it. Understood. Yeah, so you do have to do like a little bit of a corner here because it's not a straight shot out. I don't know, that was just so weird, right? Like the curtains part a little bit and then you just pull out onto the stage and literally everybody's staring at you and it's just so fun. I kind of want to do it again.
22 miles.
Oh my God. 22 mile Volkswagen Bug. All right. This is what I'll ride in next.
Larry, this is Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thanks for giving me a ride.
Sure, anytime.
So this one has 22 miles on it. Oh my
That's
goodness.
probably the lowest I've ever seen on a auction car.
Probably. Because the S2000 had 42 miles and I thought that was already low. And this has half of that.
And for a 79, that's
really low.
crazy low.
That's low.
It's in good condition though. It's probably just someone's garage princess.
That is literally the most annoying sound.
Here we go, here we go. Onto the stage.
While it was so much fun to ride in these cars, I needed to make sure I was paying attention to some of these multi-million-dollar auctions as they were going by so fast. This one's a big one. Been waiting for them to bring the mirror up. I'm curious to see how much this one's gonna go for. All right, so I'll go ahead and go through the back.
Only 7 examples in this stunning scale. There simply are not any better outfits to bring this car in the condition it is in now. Matching numbers, 3.9 all on equal engine.
$3 million.
$3 million. This is the most expensive car that we've seen so far here.
What do you say?
Holy wow.
325 spin. Thank you, sir. 325 with Morgan spinner now. 325.
Oh my God, they're going up $250,000 at a time.
3,250,000.
this really gives it into perspective in terms of how expensive a car Kato-san from Liberty Walk modified. Oh, 3.5. 3.5. Oh, jeez. Oh, about to smoke everyone out.
3.75 would be next. We are at $3.5 million.
Dude, this is insane.
We are at
$3.6 million for this mirror. It's a beautiful car.
$3,850,000 has been against you, sir.
Oh, buddy. They're going to keep going.
At $3,850,000. $3,875,000 is bid.
Oh, it's still going.
$3,900,000 would be next. You should applaud. Stiff bidding, ladies and gentlemen. Your hands aren't in the air bidding, so you can applaud. You have plenty of time. We're at $3,900,000 is going on.
It's about to hit $4 million. $4 million for this car, man. $4 million for this mirror. Amazing.
$3,900,000.
Oh, jeez. $4 million.
Feel free to go back to my auction room anytime, sir.
That's crazy.
$4,050,000 on my right. 4-1 would be next.
I had a feeling that was going to be a good one, and that did not disappoint. $4,050,000 for that Lamborghini. Oh, wow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, lot 234. We will open the bidding today at $6 million. $6 million. $6 million is bid on my lot at $6 million.
$6 million.
That's $6 million here.
Jeez.
That's $6.5, $7 million is bid. That's $7 million. $7.5 on my left. $8 million is bid here. Trash at $8 million. I'll take 85.
Wow, that was quick.
$8 million on my right. I'll take it to 85 next. We're at 85 on my left. At $8,500,000 here, I'll take it at $9 million.
Confidentiality, a 125 so extraordinarily rare. California Spider is great fun to drive. This is a confidence.
Going once at $8.6 million. Going twice. Sold to you, Ken. $8.6 million.
Wow. 8.6 million. Didn't go for as much as I thought, but still crazy. That is so expensive.
Once the cars are sold, each one of them gets driven down to the basement, and the new owners have 2 days to pay for these cars and get them out of this very expensive parking lot.
All the cars here were just sold. Now they're really gonna try to pack them in as much as possible. Just pack them into this underground parking lot. Check it out, here it is, $1.7 million for this Bugatti Veyron. And of course it's parked next to this Jaguar XJ220. It's kind of cool, they really do pack it in here. I guess they just don't really have a choice, there's just not that much space here. The auction was so interesting and it was an incredible first experience for me. Now I'm looking forward to checking out the concourse.
Morning, guys. I am absolutely wrecked, just so exhausted. Last night I must have ate something bad, so I did not get any sleep at all, but that's no excuse. I'm gonna go to the Radwood side and I'm gonna try to get some of the load in right now. I really was suffering from food poisoning, but as the cars loaded in and I saw more familiar faces, I started to forget my stomach pains and I tried my best to enjoy the show.
Look what we have here. Mr. LZ.
Oh, hey. Cool to see you here.
You're like a cardboard cutout.
Have you given the tour of the Viper setup yet?
No. What are we looking at here?
Have you sat in one of these chairs?
Okay, so full disclosure,
Yeah.
I have this is the only shop chair that I have.
Okay, so you already know the deal.
Yeah, but I saw them at your shop first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are like the best for detailing and all that. But that's what I expect. See, I'll come here to Viper chair, and you're the best ambassador. You're just like,
Hey, look, I got the back pain. I'm the best sales guy. When I'm working on a car for a long time, because I'm bad at working on cars, I need to be comfortable.
what did you bring here?
I've got the 34 and the 964.
Let's go check out your 964.
Let's do it.
So, Mr. Thin Mint,
Yep.
this is probably a car that's given you the most trouble, I feel like, huh?
No, it's actually been great. You know, I had a couple issues in the very beginning just with the old engine, but after that, it's been almost boringly great.
Is this something you've always wanted to build?
Yeah, I've just kind of been intrigued from air-cooled cars, and coming from like the JDM side and watching a lot of these guys that have been building cars forever, but are like kind of that next generation building these things. It always intrigued me. Like, oh, could I build one of those?
And this is pretty cool. Like, I also think it's honestly very fitting for this to be here at Amelia.
Yeah.
Like, you have quite the car collection. Out of all your cars, I feel like this fits on the lawn pretty good.
Yeah,
but it is all your style. Can we take a look at under the
Sure.
hood? This thing is awesome. I love
Thanks.
the matching fan.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a fancy 4-liter ITB Motec, like the pinnacle dream engine for pretty much any of these guys with a 964. It's something that I wanted to do, but I thought would happen many years down the road. But when the original engine let go, it was kind of like, all right, I could build it twice, or I could build it once and just do what I know I'm going to want in the end. And this is like as bad as it gets for these cars.
What do you think about Amelia overall? Like, it's definitely not really my crowd, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like it is changing. You know, it is more inclusive to, car enthusiasts like you and I. What's your take?
Oh, it's cool. You know, I mean, I like going to all different types of shows because, in the end of the day, everyone's love for cars is the same, despite where they come from, what their background is, what the cars are. So I've actually had a lot of really good conversations here with people that I'd probably never meet in another place. And it's cool just to kind of chat with some of these guys that have been in the scene. They were us 30, 40 years ago. So it's cool to kind of hear their perspective and their journey with cars.
It's also great you being here, just drawing in that younger car enthusiast, right? They would probably never even be exposed to these pre-war cars.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
There's some cool stuff here, and you and I probably could barely scratch the surface of the detail in some of these things.
Well, good to see you as always.
Yeah, likewise.
It's so easy to be desensitized to these multi-million-dollar cars, but what I really appreciate are these home-built vehicles that actually get driven on the road, like this wonderful Toyota Starlet.
So tell me about your Starlet.
Yeah, so it's a 1994 Toyota Starlet GT Turbo. It's a 1.3 liter turbo. It makes about 212 horsepower right now, 194 torque. It's got the full genuine Tom's body kit. Pretty much everything's been done to it.
What made you want to get this?
I actually saw this in the background of an Instagram photo. And I messaged the guy and I said, hey, what is that? I want to buy that. And I had no idea that it was a Starlet. I didn't even know it was a Toyota, actually. And he was like, actually, it's for sale. It's going on Cars and Bids in a couple weeks. I was like, no, it's not. and made a deal and sent it down to Florida.
And this kit is really rare.
Yeah.
Like, how many of these exist?
Probably seen like 3 or 4 cars with the full genuine Tom's kit. They make a lot of replicas now, but the real one is really hard to find, mostly because of the spoiler. That's actually like an adjustable ducktail. So if you look in there, you can actually like flip it up and down. I've never seen anyone not have it flipped up, but.
That is so cool. So is this the only kit in the US?
Yeah. I don't know anyone else with the full genuine kit. I do know that there's one with some of the kit in a woman in I believe Oklahoma or Kansas, but
I really think it's pretty cool that it's two-tone.
Yeah.
And it matches the wheels.
Yeah, and actually, funny enough, that's not even purposeful. So those Sparko wheels come in that color, and then the body kit is like the 90s Lexus color, and it's just really close.
The previous owner painted it the 90s Lexus color.
Yeah, so originally it was all white, and the previous owner, which was I have a classic Mini, the broker's mechanic had it, and he painted it this color. I loved it, so when I refitted the body kit, I kept the same color scheme because I just thought it was sick.
Can we take a look at the engine bay?
Yes. All right.
Oh my God.
So
the
there it
valve
is.
cover's even matching?
Yep, valve cover's matching. So pretty much literally everything's been done. I mean, it has exhaust, suspension, brand new fuel system, intake, custom intake all through the wheel well, intercooler. The engine's been built.
This thing is so cool. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, thanks. It was literally on the dyno Thursday.
So it's verified. 200, how much?
212. 212, yep.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from England, but I came from Tampa today, so literally got the car off the dyno Thursday, drove over here yesterday, but I had, the whole way.
This?
Yes, in this.
How many hours is that?
I think it took about 4, but yeah, I've been registered for 3 years, and every year it just hasn't quite been ready for that road trip. And then finally, we made it happen thanks to an awesome mechanic.
You mean to tell me you registered for 3 years and you didn't show up those years?
I luckily had other cars that I decided to bring instead, but yeah, I really have wanted to bring this one for 3 years, so this is like kind of a dream come true. I kind of have to keep pinching myself that I'm here, and I can't believe the car is here. When I pulled in yesterday, I let out some screams and happiness.
It's funny that I made my way down to Amelia Island, but I didn't actually spend so much time at the Concours itself. While I appreciate the hard work and history behind most of these cars, I'm not really part of the wine and cheese crowd. All the surrounding activities, including the auctions, the car shows, including Radwood, surrounding Amelia Island is what really appeals to me. I have to say, if you are a car enthusiast, this is definitely a bucket list event that you have to check out.